suggested that there is the need of mobile banking and digital microfinance platforms targeting young agripreneurs. There is also the challenge on land and resource access, as most of the land is owned by the community. So the group suggests that the land should be leased, land leasing schemes by government or cooperatives targeting young farmers. They also suggest that a reform land tenure laws to make youth ownership and lease easier. Knowledge and skills. The group identified that there has been inadequate skills for the youth, and there is need to expand training centers focused on agriculture and food processing. The other thing is that before you proceed, integrate agribusiness and modern farming techniques into school curriculum. Explaining on that, there is an example of some counties that have introduced agribusiness short courses in their training centers for young people to access the skills on best farming systems. The other thing is about partnership with non-government organizations, agri companies for mentorship and internship. We came to realize that there are so many institutions and organizations that are supporting agribusiness and different levels in the counties. So there is a need to partner with those NGOs and companies to mentor the young people and offer internship. The other thing is about e-learning platform offering free or low-cost training. The other challenge is about market access and value chain formation of youth cooperatives to bulk products and negotiate prices. On the issue of marketing, most of the young people are not able to access these markets because maybe they are not federated into the various value chains that they do in the counties. So one of the suggestions was to help federate these young people into groups according to the value chains that will enable them negotiate for markets, access to resources, etc. There's also the issue of value addition. We've limited value addition facilities in the counties, and that's why most of the products go to waste. Most of the young farmers experiencing the post-harvest losses, and there is now a call for both governments and institutions to support value addition facilities so that our products can add value and earn an extra price. Digital platforms that connect youth producers directly with consumers or retailers. The team appreciates that we're living in a digital world and most of the production is happening in the local areas. So we need to integrate the technology and develop these platforms where the young people can access to sell their produce, connecting with buyers. On policy and governance, various national strategies dedicated to youth in agri-food systems. The team recognized that some of the policies are not youth-friendly. The team also feels that there is need of youth representation in agriculture boards and policy forums. While when these policies are being formulated, in most cases you find the young people are missing when the discussions are happening. So they don't get people who are talking about their issues. There is now the need to have them represent in those forums and have their voices heard. Advocacy groups that lobby for youth-friendly agricultural policies. We want to appreciate that we know policies on taxation, licensing, among many other requirements that enable young people to produce and sell their products. But these requirements, you find them, maybe the offices are far away. There is the need to have a system, like on licensing, when you find one has to pay maybe the KRA certificates to export their products and all that. It takes a lot of their time. One of the suggestions on that is to have a system that the young people can log in and access these requirements. And on that, there's also the issue of licensing, like in the counties. You find most of the licensing are too costly. Can we have a negotiated payment plan for the youth? A case study is in Makueni, where I come from. At least I know, because licensing for permits, the young people have been now able to pay for licensing, those partial payment with a negotiated plan. How about now the other governments and institutions having a policy that supports these young people to pay in a negotiated plan? Because some of them, like those who are into value addition, you find some licenses are costing over 70,000, and maybe these are now as startups. Then there is the issue of climate change and environmental risks, diversion of crops, and income resources. There is need of climate smart agriculture training and adoption, taking into consideration that different counties are experiencing climate change. We have those maybe erratic rainfall, others droughts, floods, and these affects either production, yield, market access, among many other challenges. So we need this adoption of this training on climate smart agriculture. The other thing is about access to crops and livestock insurance schemes. This is to help the young people, the young agripreneurs, not to count too much losses on the investments that they do. Early warning systems for extreme weather. We appreciate that we've institutions that are dedicated on updating farmers on weather.
Remember, you have 7 minutes.
Thank you so much, Sharon. We promise to keep time. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Tabitha from Kitui County, Mungi West Constitution, and I'm part of the tech, the ladies in tech present in this room. I'll let my colleagues introduce themselves.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anok Nzioka. I'm from Kitui County, CEO and founder of Agrobots Africa, and the current and acting global ambassador for GCR AI, a global council for responsible AI.
Good afternoon. My name is Andrew Kinyanjui from Kiambu County. I am big in the IT space, and I am also a farmer. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Tracy Ngoya Liai. I am from Vihiga County, and I am in the youth empowerment programs.
Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Kobia from Meru County. I'm an ICT specialist, and I'm a youth leader. Thank you.
So areas. Do we have someone we can invest in that, mostly in the agriculture sector? So this Agri-Hackathon is a bridge. We are taking tools to our young people already, to our young people already. So we are using USSD, for example, is the staff
Ash. We are using IoTs. We are using GIS and applying them to real food
system challenges. Not theory, but prototypes counties can adapt tomorrow. So I will let my colleagues explain into details the problems and the challenges that we face. Then all of us, we can convene here and let you help us solve it.
Hi everyone. Next slide, please. So the first problem that we're going to cover is low-cost digital advisory platforms. So in Kenya, okay, myself, let me speak for myself. The last time that we had fertilizer distribution, I lacked it. I never knew about it, and that's what we're talking about today. So farmers don't have time or even the knowledge of what to plant and when to plant, you see? So what we're coming about the problem is when you look at the data, 20 to 30% of yield can be improved if farmers know when to plant and how to plant it, okay? So for the solutions, we have come about with SMS or USSD to inform the farmers timely on when to plant and how to plant. Say someone dials star something, let's say star 123 hash, and then inputs his location or her location, inputs what they want to plant, and then this system will give him or her a list of the possible things that are very good, that will come out very good for that. And then we want to integrate e-citizen platform with the farmers. You find that it will allow them to order or get fertilizers in time and on time using the existing over 900 poster units. Next slide, please. So the second problem is sensor-driven water management kits. So basically, let me speak for my county. So as much as, yes, we have water, we will really want to maintain the little water that we have, right? So when we integrate IoT and all that into all this problem, it is going to save us 40% of the water that goes to waste. Another thing is, most of the time you find that we are struck by drought. That is not good for all of us. So using these sensors, it will help us save that water. So first of all, we are integrating small and cheap available moisture probes. So what it does is it irrigates only when the moisture level in the soil is low, okay? And then it also builds us as farmers, and we provide dashboards to them. You know, like someone looks at the dashboard and then they will see that maybe I've used this amount of water, I've saved this amount of water, yeah? Next slide, please. So another problem that we have is youth-run post-harvest mapping apps. So the problem, as it says, 30 to 40% of produce goes to loss after harvest. So you find that youth in the different counties don't really have, let's say, refrigeration facilities to store what they have or what they harvest, right? So the solution to this is we are going to make GIS-enabled data that would show the nearest refrigeration facilities or storage facilities that we're going to help the youth store their crops after harvest to avoid the losses. Another thing is we are going to use Poster as an aggregation hub to what the youth harvest, you see? So an example is, let's come here back to Homa Bay. If you have gone to the pier on the far left, you have seen a fish market, right? So the fish market, their facilities, they provide refrigeration in massive quantities, right? And we can always use, what is it called? We can always use solar energy or renewable energy to power those refrigeration facilities, and that will reduce the losses that incur not only to farmers who do maybe fishing, but also to other farmers who do, let's say, subsistence, yeah? Next slide. I'm going to welcome my colleague here to take us through the next slide.
Good afternoon once again. My name is Andrew. So based on what my colleagues have said, there is a lot that can be done in the tech space. But these things that are coming out, the apps that are being built, yes, they're in existence. I believe that himself is building an IoT solution that it monitors your crops as they grow. It has a camera that can see that. It has sensors that can see how much water is in the soil. So it's something that you can monitor from as far as your home to your shamba over the internet. So those are solutions that himself has built one. If you could visit his stand in the main tent, in the exhibitions under Kitui County, you could see something very great. The solutions that we have, most of you have not known that we have fertilizer being given to Kenyans for free. Did you know that? Has anybody, by show of hands, has anybody ever received fertilizer by the government for free? For free. Subsidized cost. Seeds, have you gotten any for free? Subsidized cost. Great. Kiambu County, anybody? Has anybody gotten a chick from the county government? A chick, a tushui, kifaranga. Yes, so these things are actually there. But why are we not able to access them? Because we don't know that they're there. Everybody here, I believe, can access eCitizen for your almost daily operations. Give it your passport, your driving license, land rate, everything goes through eCitizen. What if there is a platform on eCitizen where the youth are able to see that we are able to get seeds at a subsidized rate? And the payments are also done on eCitizen. True? But now, how to get it to the youth in the remote area? Posta, our very beloved company, is slowly dying, and they're able to get to almost every part of this country. What we thought about is, what if you're able to see that I am able to access my bag of seeds, my subsidized fertilizer, and I can see them on eCitizen. I can pay for them, and they can be delivered to my local area, and you're able to track it. Because even the letters that are being sent nowadays, you're able to have them tracked. Your passport, if you apply for a passport, it's sent to your mailbox, and you're able to track it through a tracking number. That data it's very valuable data to the government to see who are we giving these seeds. What are they doing with these seeds? Are we expecting any returns from these seeds? Because the maize will grow. It will have to go back to a granary if you're sending it back to the government. And I believe all these opportunities are there. It's just that we do not know that they're there. So having a system that can be incorporated onto the eCitizen to empower the youth in farming is something that can start as soon as tomorrow. Because there is not much that is being built onto the existing platform of eCitizen. There's not much that is being given onto the postal service for their courier services. You're actually helping the postal service to stay alive by paying for that delivery for the subsidized fertilizer to get from the source to wherever you are without any brokers. You're able to see whatever you're getting, and it's a more transparent process. I believe my 7 minutes are done. Thank you very much.
Another round of applause, please. Before you leave the stage, our next session, we are going to have a Q&A session. We'll start with our technical panelists to give their inputs, ask any questions that you have. The team are here on the stage to answer the questions, and then we'll go to the audience for the Q&A. Welcome.
Hi everyone, thank you so much. Really enjoyed hearing your ideas. They were really exciting. And I just wanted to ask, I think this is for the ICT group. So what do you think would be the overall impact for instance, agripreneurs? I loved the post eCitizen idea. I think using an existing digital platform which has its issues, but, could be improved, and you have POSTA, which already exists. What do you think is the overall impact for agripreneurs, for example, of a system like this? How do you think it will impact their bottom line and their incomes?
The youth have so much potential. We have seen that over the past couple of years. We perish because we're not able to access this opportunities that are there. The e-citizen will be very important because it's something that is transparent to all. It's something that the data you get, you can actualize the data and see that we are collecting this amount of money going to these regions. And the youth, it's not that these solutions, the private companies who have built very good solutions. There is the 1 Acre Fund, there is the Twiga Foods who are bringing farmers together. Those solutions exist, but on to the grassroots level, which will get to the grassroots level as soon as possible. And people who are in school can be educated on, if you leave school, you're told, you can go to e-citizen, get fertilizer, nobody will ask you any questions. You don't have to go through your MCA, you don't have to go through, because the MCA doesn't go through, okay, sorry to say, but they don't go through each and every household to make sure that everybody has an equal opportunity. So this is among the youth to take initiative on their own, to go to the platform, to get their fertilizer, to get their seeds, no limitations. And the courier service is there, so it's between you, the availability and the courier. And you can start the planting on your own.
If I understood your question well, we talked about systems. When we have a system in place, we will be able to deploy marketplace. So most of the youths will also face the issue of marketplace. And when you have a digital system, we are not only integrating it for the start, the beginning of the planting, and we are also integrating it from planting to monitoring, then to the market. So that is economic empowerment for the...
Thank you very much.
Mic test. Thank you very much. I think as the only youth on the panel, I'm very excited to hear your exciting ideas, and great work to both teams for coming up with exciting, innovative ideas. So mine is to the IT hackathon group. I really loved your youth-run post-harvest mapping apps. I think post-harvest loss is something that we haven't really discussed enough. And when you look at it from a climate perspective, we have productivity, we have seeds, we have fertilizers, but then we lose some of it after harvest. So from a climate perspective, we have to reduce the amount of land we are removing from ecosystems and turning into agricultural land for productivity by preserving what we already have. So my question is, how do we make that app profitable and financially viable? Because it sounds like an interesting solution. We're able to aggregate and show them this is where the cold storage is. These are the threshers that you can get for your maize. These are the bags that you can get for long-term storage. But how do we create a business model where more youth can get involved and we're actually financially viable so that it can be a sustainable and replicatable model across different parts of the country?
So for it to be sustainable, first of all, there's nothing for free in this world, right? So we're going to charge a fee for every log. Let's say someone has, let's say, a ton of maize and they want them to be stored in a silo, right? So we're going to charge them for that, okay? And that applies to everything that happens around the agricultural field, from fish, and then we're going to include subsidized costs for the farmers, because at the end of the day, we want the money to go back to the farmer. We want the money to go back to the people and the youth.
Thank you for that. I think there's also an opportunity to look at the service providers outlets on the platform because you're providing free market to them. How can we then charge them to be on the platform and encourage more private businesses to get on the platform and provide those solutions? So that's also another opportunity. I think we can scale this. Let's take time and see how we can, brainstorm around it. And I think the county reps, they have their cooperatives, they have their own extension services that they can be able to link onto your platform and create that exciting momentum.
Going to the other group, I want to pose a question. Will we first finish with this one? Okay. First of all, congratulations. The idea is so good. But again, you're talking about post-harvest loss. I would really appreciate that you give a specific example of a value chain and maybe give us a picture of how that will help fix the gap that you have identified. Just to give an example so that we don't argue in generalities. Remember, when we talk about agriculture, we already know what we are talking about. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. Let me give you a real-time example. When we do harvest, right now we are harvesting peas. So what is in the market right now? There is a lot of brokers, middlemen, and the last person, that is the farmer. Whatever they are going to receive will be so low. It will be so low compared to whatever they should have received. So if I'm going to receive something that I don't feel worthy for, what will I do? I'll store that one. And the current pesticide that we have to protect that, they only take around 3 months. That is another loss to me. For those 3 months, it's either I have to apply the powder for the crops, or I just sell at a loss, or I leave it. It will just be destroyed. I leave it for consumption. Our farmers are not earning the maximum profit they should be earning from that. That is what we mean by post-harvest loss. And there are so many other examples that I can give you right now, but yeah.
Okay, also to add on what my colleague has said, looking at what is happening right now, like in Kenya right now, we have only the National Cereals and Produce Board that is responsible for management of seeds, and also I think they usually buy bulk from farmers. Now we have a kind of monopoly. If we create this platform, this online, a kind of an online market, we also give the farmers more options. They are able to trade between farmer and the buyer directly without a middleman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. All the technical experts who are here, thank you so much, our youth. My name is Dr. Albert Kiura. I work for an organization called AGRA. I am a system agronomist in sustainable and regenerative agriculture. I also oversee a project in Kenya we call Strengthening Regenerative Agriculture in Kenya. And to me, I don't have a question, but I just have a few comments. First of all, to thank you so much for the thought process. I was very pleased just listening to your challenges and the proposals. So excellent, keep it up, and don't shy away from telling us these things. I was very pleased to hear about what you want to do on the space of fertilizers, and probably I met with some of you. I gave a keynote address during the Africa Fertilizer Soil Health Summit last year, May. And just what I said is, you know, when we are venturing into these issues of fertilizer, there are so many, you know, unknowns. People just pick without knowing. And I just wanted to let you know that as you develop and think about developing an app, please just know that AGRA has invested a lot in that space of fertilizers. We have a book we have authored. We call it fertilizers for feeding Africa's soils. So you can look at that book as you want to develop that app, and it will give you a lot of information on what you want to do. When you talk about an app to order, you know, fertilizers, it's important for you to know the type of fertilizer that you want to order. And we have what we call the 4R, nutrient management stewardship. So it's important you also look at that, so that you know fertilizers, it depends on the type, it depends on the time of application. Also the method of applying is very important, as well as the dosage, what we call the rate. So I just needed to highlight that. And just to let you know that what we are thinking about doing in this post-harvest space is something that, of course, in AGRA, we are thinking about that, and I know my country director will be here, who's here, will be talking about that, and something that we are venturing into, and I will be very pleased to also connect with you as we get into that space of looking for these solutions. For the other group, so that I'm sure they're also taking notes. The issues you've mentioned are very important. Some of them I'm not able to address because we have our policy experts here, and they will address that. But issues to do with, you know, climate and diversification for resilience, that's what we are doing, you know, climate smart agriculture and the strengthening regenerative agriculture in Kenya. And I just want to let you know that if you can take notes, AGRA, working with a consultant called Skika, we have developed a digital platform and a website called Arika Farm. This is the spelling A-R-I-Q-A, Arika Farm. You know, it's one word. Farm is F-A-R-M, arikafarm.com. I encourage everyone here, the youth and everyone else, to get into that platform. We are offering free lessons there, modules. When you complete all the modules, you will also get a certificate. AGRA has sponsored all those, and we shall be, you know, we shall be running this until the end of the year, just to ensure that we disseminate this as much as possible. And in terms of, I was very pleased when you talked about last mile delivery of, you know, services. That's, you know, and I know what the county governments have done through the agripreneur model. Also in AGRA, we have what we call the village-based advisor model, which is a very important thing that you can leverage. When you go to that platform, Arika Farm, you will see, you know, what we are doing there. And I think it's very important for us to leverage, so that we don't just come here every day we are talking about a problem, that a solution is existing, only that people are not aware. So thank you so much.
Okay, back to you guys. Any questions for the team?
My question is for the team food systems. Somebody talked about, you talked about a platform where youth can access everything. I didn't quite understand what that was. Could you teach me more?
Yes.
of the fertilizer part. Could see you seeing youth as consumers. How do the fertilizers get to the youth? But I'm happy to say that we have seen innovators around waste management, people who turn organic waste into fertilizers. So again, it's a challenge. Okay. Yes. As I was saying, there are very many young people who are turning organic waste into fertilizers, and I would like to see an inclusion of those youth, as producers, as manufacturers. Are going to be the next thing. They produce organic fertilizers that are safe, that are, better than. Okay, I'd like to say better because I'm also a farmer, that are better than what we get in the marketplace right now. And I see that as an opportunity to see young people as producers and not only consumers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheila, for the information. That was so much informative. I just want to mention one thing. We are talking of food system through innovation and participation. So when we talk about food systems, we are emphasizing on the fact that it's the whole food system, the whole ecosystem, from manufacturing the products to farmers to marketplace and even value addition. Let's all of us understand the food system for us to be able to integrate and ask our questions well. Thank you so much.
Because of time, I'll take one more question for the innovation team.
Thank you. Thanks so much, our young people. Let me say that I really appreciate your creativity, your innovation. And actually, when you speak, you create excitement amongst all of us. I think that there's only one part I would like to hear once in a while from you people. That is the number of jobs you create and how much, whether they're able to really give money, meaningful money, by meaningful money that can make you survive and live. So, thank you.
Kindly, can you emphasize the last part of your question? On the little money part. Can you emphasize on that part?
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to understand, yes. By ILO standards, yes. Are you able to make it in life by your innovations? Like now when you sell your innovations, are you getting money that makes you survive or live? Let's not talk about surviving, but just live. Live your life.
That is a very interesting question. I'll answer it as myself. If I am to build a solution like this, that I am able to connect all the youth to the marketplaces and to connect them to the fertilizer they need, all the resources they need, bringing them all together, I would not depend on that for a livelihood, because that is something I'm giving back to my people, something that the youth are out there complaining that they do not have opportunities. They do not lack opportunities. They lack the knowledge of where these opportunities are. So the approach we're taking is making these resources available in a very common platform, which is e-citizen. For a start, if you're able to ensure that we're able to get just seeds and fertilizer in 5 counties, just 5 counties, seeds and fertilizer on e-citizen only, just to see it as a pilot program, to see how many people will be able to benefit from this. They are the ones who will be able to answer your question. They are the ones who will be able to have plants they're growing and to sell. That's the food system we're trying to get improve. Thank you.
Okay, to add on the answer that my colleague has given, I have a more advanced answer to 8. For example, looking at Gigi. Gigi is an online platform that allows buyers and sellers to transact online. But if you are a supplier who is aspiring or who wants to sell on Gigi, you have to pay something, a certain fee. Now, through that platform, through that online system, we can introduce a subscription fee that will help us maintain the system, hire more developers and more skilled workforce, and especially this workforce will, let's say, favor the youth. Why? Because we know what is in the market right now. A lot of youth are out here without jobs. So through that system, we'll create more jobs, not only to the developers, but also when we talk about the courier services, apart from posta, that we anticipate can provide us with a very streamlined system of delivery, maybe from the farmer to the buyer. We can also bring in peer-to-peer courier services with even the guys with the motorbikes, creating more employment. So it is a system that does not only benefit the people who are in ICT sector or the software developers, but also creating employment to other fellow youth that are playing complementary roles. Lakini, to end on this, for us to come up with a system like this, we will need funding from the private sector and also funding from the government. Sisi tuko hapa, me am a developer, my friends here are all developers. We can come together and bring this vision to life. Thank you.
But maybe I can just add something. Thank you so much, Dr. Manche, for that question. If I understood the youth here, they are actually telling us the challenges that are out there in the field. They are proposing solutions that we can help them, capitalize, build on them. If there are startups, help them to sustain them. And I think from where you sit, and I think probably you may, and I'm sure it's in CGA, the organization that you're working with, you have innovations that even this youth can leverage on, so that they are not just starting, like reinventing the wheel. They need now to see what's happening, and then they can stand on that and then catapult forward. So I think that should be the spirit. I submit.
Okay, let's clap for the team for the good job they've done. You can have your seats. I'll call on stage again the food system group for the Q&A sessions. The food system group. We'll start with the technical panelists again with the questions, and then we go to the audience, where I will only take 2 questions because of time.
So, again, I want to thank you for an incredibly good presentation. I'm very excited by your ideas. Thank you. Sorry, I want to thank you and commend you for introducing the main barriers to young people entering agriculture, and your solutions are exciting. But one thing that I think wasn't mentioned yet was the perception change that has to happen. So how do you convince young people to enter into farming and make it considered, instead of being a last resort, make it into an exciting, lucrative, and technology-driven career path? So it's something that I think many of your innovations and your ideas address, but I'd love to hear from you. How are you convincing young people to enter into politics, to change policies? How are you convincing them that this is the right path, that farming is a choice and it's the right choice?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Kemuma from Nyeri County, and thank you for the question. That is a good question because personally I'm into farming. I remember when I was vying for Miss Tourism in Nyeri County, and they were asking me, what do you do? Yes, I'm a nurse professionally, but my catching line was, I farm. And every old person could be like, you do farm? How do you do that? I mean, there's also that narrative that farming is for the old people. So it will start from the older generation to tell tell their children back at home that this is not for the poor, this is not for the peasants, and this is a country that generates income. And also, another thing to promote or to make farming exciting, as a young farmer, personally, I do, like when I go harvesting, I gather a number of girlfriends and tell them, let's go harvest by ourselves and have like a girl moment. You know, I make it a social thing. And if we could, County, even create groups, which we were discussing yesterday, when you create groups, it even makes it easy to access things like makes resources even more accessible. So creating groups and partnerships with people, go farming together, and that way we will build a fed country.
Thank you. To add that, for the last 6 years I've been coordinating youth in agribusiness in the county of Makueni. And one thing that I've learned is that the young people want to learn from their peers. I've seen my chief officer, Agriculture, Makueni is here, and the director, the county director. And they can attest that about 5 years, our young people are not benchmarking out of Makueni County. Why? We've young people who are doing so well in the various value chains. If you want, one who are in aquaculture and some other value chains. So when we want to entice these young people to do agriculture, to change their mindset, it is good for institutions, for organizations, for governments to make them learn from their peers. We need to empower those young people in our communities and identify those groups to learn and share experience, other than getting young people to benchmark maybe from His Excellency Lusaka. They will see he is maybe aged, he has money, but you see, like now, when we take someone to benchmark from Eviani Farm, for example, the young girl who is doing a mango value addition and at the same time doing animal feeds, and they will see she's a young graduate, maybe in 2019, she was an intern, and immediately an organization saw an opportunity in her and financed her with equipment. She's now able to employ over 40 workers, young people in her farm. Go for example, another farm in a place we call Mavindini, another graduate, but didn't want to to go seeking for jobs in these offices. He was able to learn from other peers, and is now doing something that I think he's been participating in some of these international forums on agri-food systems. There's another young girl who was an intern in Department of Energy. She's done electrical engineering. She's using the skills she has to fabricate incubators. So we need to support young people to learn from their peers. Thank you.
And also to add on to answer your question, to start off, I'm Caroline Beto-Waita from Machakos County. From the recent happenings in our country, as young people, we get tired when we keep on having the same talks once and again. For now, we are talking about agriculture, agribusiness, what we young people are facing, and that's why we are here. Now that we are having this discussion, and at the end of this session, we'll have a call to action. So we young people, we are urging the government and the private sectors who are here, please take our call to action. Actualize it. If we see that we are moving in the same page, we will be excited to do agriculture, because we cannot be talking about the same thing 2020, 2021. So if we give you our views, our challenges, our solutions, please catch our hands and help us. Thank you.
Thank you for that. For me, it's more of a call to action as well, because I'm a young person, and the question about how do we make agriculture attractive to the youth, for me, it starts with the business of agriculture. We as the youth are like free labor to the owners of capital in our lives, our parents, our families. We go carry harvest bags from the farm, air it every single morning with no return because they take the profits. So for a long time, you're running away from unpaid work. And that's the mentality we have to start by fixing. And when I look at how young people have been empowered, I'd like to Governor Lusaka to benchmark with Tanzania. They have the BBT program where they have created government land and community land and leased it out to farmers. So instead of carrying bags of maize for your parents, you go make your own maize and make your own profit. And how can we as government utilize our resources in terms of aggregating all that unused capital into youth and affordable opportunities. And this is a legacy program that the government can take to the Africa Food Systems Forum and get funding to be able to support the young farmers here. And when they speak of opportunities, I sit in a place where I look at agribusiness as a business. The same way I get marketing for skincare is how young farmers should start marketing their products. And that can only come if we have seed funding, if we have catalytic funding. That comes from development partners being very intentional in how we get net impact to the youth. If we're funding a project, how much money goes into the individual PN? Sorry, I think the Mike is having a problem. So the items they've pointed out, from financial barriers to land and resource, knowledge and skills, market access, policy and governance, climate change. I think we have solutions to all these items. It's just we need to cascade it down to the net receiver. We have to stop talking to each other as development partners and start talking to the youth here and tell them AGRA has a youth program called Go Getters, where you come with your business and you pitch and you get up to $50,000 in funding, right? And we give you training and you growth. That's what you want to hear. Women of the Year awards. If you're a woman who is in agribusiness, bring forward your business. People will be able to invest in it. We have a farmer called Marian Gishan. Tech innovation is soil testing. Soil testing device that goes into the soil and that gives updates on what your soil needs. If it needs zinc, if it needs fertilizers.
From the point that we are talking about food systems, and let's make it clear here, food systems is not just about two elements. We are talking about the processes and the activities that speak from consumption to product, from production to consumption. And
say the reason as to why we raised the policies issue is because most of the time we believe in the set policy setting up of the policies. We're supposed to look at those that the policy will influence or affect. So most of the time when we set policies, during the implementation, we find a certain group misses out.
So in our view, we feel that it's today, if we go there, we will realize we have few youth there, including this forum. Unless I'm wrong, you will realize we have few youth in this forum generally compared to the rest of the people or the ages. That is basically because maybe the entrance rates are too high to reach for the youth, the other groups, compared to those others. So what we say is that when we set policies, let's say in the aggregation zones, you will require these requirements to find space for you in the aggregation zone. Let's consider that we have youth, and youth always we will understand that we don't have the startup resources to start at a high note of say maybe a rent of 50,000 and you have to pay 6 months to have the room. That will be a disadvantage to the youth. Like for me, I will have to give up for that because I'll be able to raise that amount and I have to raise another amount for capital to start up. So when we set up these aggregation zones and they are targeted for us, let's be intentional that it is targeted for us. Don't put it and then the conditions zinakwambia ile sheria inaambiwa na Waswahili ati kufukuza ya kuambia toka. So ikiwa that means we will not be participating not because we do not want but because we will not be able to do it. You understand? So I needed to add a point on the perception issue that we have been saying that we need to change our perception, but I believe we all have a role to play in maintaining the perception. Like for youth, wengi wanaamini agribusiness or business in the agricultural sector is it's not profitable because it's unpredictable. It is unpredictable because we do not have a way you can be sure that you can earn something from business. From agriculture. I was saying this because we have examples from countries which are in research almost 90%, but they do agriculture. What is the difference between that and us? It means there is something that they do that we are not doing, and we can do it.
One, let's sensitize our youth. Those in the ministries in the counties, mostly in the counties, because the counties now we are closer to the people compared to the national. If we sensitize
I'm very glad when you said that you started farming a long time ago. I also started farming when I was in class 5, and by the time I this talk day in, day out, I want to encourage you that we are listening and we are taking action. Just one thing that I want to point out is through a project that we are doing in Makueni, Kitui, Tharaka Nithi, Embu, and Makueni, 4 counties. It's called Strengthening Regenerative Agriculture in Kenya. We normally do assessments, and we have found that 96% of the youth that we have in those counties have smartphones. Meaning the area you have talked about on ICT, leveraging ICT is a sure bet. Then Thank you, Ms. Tourism. I think you are among the 12%. So the issue is you can use those back funds so that you can also encourage your fellow youth to get into it. And I can assure you that there is also money in farming. I also make money from farming, good money. Yeah. So I think it's something that you are not just guessing, but you're on the right course. Thank you so much.
All right, now I'm going to invite my co-moderator, Maureen, to take it away from here.
Thank you so much, team. Yes, please take your seats. Let's appreciate the panel and the two youth groups properly. I'm not seeing the youthful energy, Germany. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll move to the next phase of this program. And for us to get there, I would like us to stand as Kathy makes her way to the stage. Tusimame sisi wote. Say hi to your neighbor at the front, at the back. And ask them, wamesikiaje mambo ya youth? Salimia jirani, you just never know who you're seated next to. Sawa, sawa. Thank you. Let's have our seats and karibu sana, Kathy.
Thank you very much. Sholen, where are you? You and a friend. You have a task here. Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Governors, asanteni sana kwa kuja. Tumeshukuru wakati wenyu, tunafurahia kabisa. So our youth are very dynamic. 1 minute they are rearing a high-grade sheep, and then the next minute they are moving furniture. So I think they are quite dynamic. Asanteni sana. And so, ladies and gentlemen, owing to several iterations of the day's program, we are very pleased and privileged to have several governors in the house, a couple of CECs, and because of that, we are going to ask that where they would have been setting the stage at the beginning, now they are going to come and recharge all of us before we move to the next segment. Now, the gentleman who will speak and provide a keynote address, we know him very well. His name is Governor. Now this akina kwambia hii internet itatuonesha maneno. His name is Governor Kenneth Lusaka, and he is in his capacity right now the chair of the Agriculture Committee at the Council of Governors. But to get there, he had to first be elected as governor. So one of the things that I like about Governor Lusaka is that I sat in a meeting the other day where he was very, very passionate about an engagement or a toolkit that will help move youth engagement at county level. And I know that is work he's championing. So when you see him here, it's not by mistake. He knows exactly what he's doing and where his energy is. So Governor Lusaka, tafadhali. Sasa ubaya leo, podium yetu haina ile microphone inakuanga, kwa hizo tutajishikia tu. Karibu sana, asante.
At least I've been given another one. Governor, so I have special mics. Let me recognize my colleague, Dr. Julius Malombe, the Governor Kitui. I'll give him an opportunity to talk. Actually, we are the pioneer governors when devolution started. We were sent home in 2017. But 8 of us came back after Wananchi realized that they had actually made a mistake. So I also started farming long time ago, not because I liked it, but as a punishment. And that's where partly the problem is with the youth and the way we looked at agriculture. Because agriculture was seen as a punishment. Anytime you made a mistake in school, you will be told to go and weed. Even at home, you will be told to go to the farm. So you grow up knowing that agriculture is a very bad thing, is a punishment. So we want to change that attitude. We want to move from that attitude. That's why we want to engage the youth. I've sat there and listened to the youth talk, and I was very impressed with what I'm seeing. They are calling for action. And that is the way we want to go. So what I will be saying is just the icing on the cake. But a lot of the issues, I think the youth are speaking, and we need to listen to them. So it's both an honor and a privilege to be with you today for a conversation that sits at the heart of our national priorities. One hand, agriculture is and has always been the backbone of our Kenya's economy. And on the other hand, the young people gathered in this room and those beyond it are the lifeblood of our future. So when the two meet, and agricultural potential, transformation is inevitable. And that's what I was listening here. Yet if we are honest, as you well know, the youth make up to 75.1% of Kenya's population. This is a formidable force. So if properly guided, empowered and included, our youth can redefine the future of our food systems, energize our economy, and drive Kenya towards a sustainable prosperity. And that's what I was hearing as I sat there. So distinguished guests, yet the reality is sobering, that youth unemployment and disengagement are on the rise. We have young people brimming with talent, ideas, creativity, and energy, yet too often they lack the opportunities, resources, supportive structures that would allow them to thrive. I think that's what they were saying. The result, lost potential, growing frustration, and disconnection from productive participation in national and county development. I listened to that youth say that we have been listening to these stories. We now want action. They are getting impatient, and that's natural to the youth because they have a lot of energy. We are delaying them. That is what they are saying, and some of the things are the things that I'm mentioning just now. So this is the paradox we face. While Kenya's agri-food sector employs 60% of the workforce and contributes over half of our GDP, youth participation remains unacceptably low. So the African Agriculture Status Report 2022 reveals the challenge starkly as follows: that 72% of youth perceive agriculture as a low status occupation. What I was talking about. And sometimes even some of the varieties that come from Bungoma where we grow sugarcane, if you tell a youth that you are going to grow sugarcane and wait for 18 months to be paid, they become impatient very fast. So we must get varieties that are also going to mature fast, because our youth are now used to quick money. They're not going to wait for 18 months. And for Zoya, if they pay you, you continue praying to God. So you can also plant the sugarcane and not get paid at all. 59% of Kenyan youth report limited access to land, which in turn restricts the access to finance. I think they have raised that. I was not here. Youth engagement in agriculture has declined by 8% from 37% in 2016 to just 28.5% in 2020. So, and yet this same report offers hope that 85% of Kenyan youths have received education, whether at primary, secondary, or technical training levels. So many are fluent in the digital world, a powerful tool that, if fully harnessed, can transform agriculture into an attractive, profitable, and modern career pathway. Imagine what could happen if we connected these digital skills with agri-food value chains, green technologies, and innovation hubs in every county. So what must we do? This is why we are here today, not only to speak, but to listen, to hear from our youth directly. What will make agriculture and agri-food systems a space where you see your future? So at the Council of Governors, we are crafting a bold forward-looking response, the Youth in Agri-Food Systems Strategy. I thank AGRA, our steadfast partner in this journey, for working alongside us. This will not be another strategy gathering dust on a shelf. Because again, we are very good at coming up with strategies which we don't implement. As the chair of agriculture, when I went to Bungoma, it's my second term.
we went to Zambia to look at crop insurance. You know what they told us? This system was developed. We actually came to benchmark in Kenya. Now we are going to benchmark what we told them. The same, when I was our PS in livestock development, we went to Botswana Meat Commission to benchmark, and we were told Botswana Meat Commission was a prototype from Kenya Meat Commission. So they came copied from us. We are now going again to learn from them. Even the first director of veterinary services was from Kenya. So you get where the point is that we come up with very good, what the youth are saying, we come up with very classic policies, then they just gather dust because we cannot implement what we have said. So this will not gather dust, it will be a practical, actionable, and anchored in county realities while aligning with our national development priorities and global sustainability commitments. So we see agriculture not as a fallback option for the jobless, but as a front line for innovation, enterprise, and transformation. So this sector offers limitless possibilities to our youth as entrepreneurs, climate-smart farmers, agri-tech innovators, processors, traders, researchers, and providers of green solutions. So we'll begin with pilot counties, including those already working with AGRA, but our ultimate goal is to roll out this strategy in all the 47 counties, ensuring no young person is left behind in the march toward food security, climate resilience, and inclusive prosperity. So drafting this strategy is the first step. Implementing it faithfully and effectively is the real work. This is why we call upon AGRA and all partners present today. Let us walk this journey together, pooling our resources, networks, and expertise. County governments remain steadfast in this pathway. So one immediate opportunity lies in the county aggregation and industrial parks, KIPES. These facilities are ripe for youth engagement as innovators, and you know they are being built in all the 47 counties. They are all at different stages. Suppliers, processors, and service providers. So through our strategy and partner programs, we must deliberately create pathways that enable young people to claim their share of the KIPE opportunities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I commend AGRA for curating such a relevant, timely, and solution-focused session. So to our young people today, we are here to listen to you. We want your bold ideas, your fresh thinking, and your honest recommendations on how we can work together to make agriculture a space of pride, innovation, and prosperity. So let us remember the future of our food systems, and indeed the future of our nation, rests in your hands. And together, we can make that future not only secure, but abundant. So as I finish, I think we have come to listen. And I've listened, you've told us to go to Tanzania, to do something there. We'll see what we can do. But this time we want to be serious. We want to encourage the youth. And I went to Rwanda one time, and you know when you talk about anything in Africa, people talk about a budget. I want to ask you a simple question. How much money do you need to change your attitude?
Zero money.
Zero money. So you don't need a budget to change your attitude. We just need to change our attitude. And that's what has happened in Rwanda. You go to Rwanda, it's very clean because people just change their attitude. They say we want a clean town, a clean city. You go to Kigali. So we also want to change our attitude as a youth to look at agriculture positively. And I like the way you're putting it because we want to move from agriculture, you know, agriculture was seen as a cultural thing, planting bananas, tomatoes, into agribusiness and value addition. That is where we are going, and that's why we want to encourage the youth, and I like the way you responded. So I don't want to take a lot of time. I was just to give the icing on the cake. I want to welcome my brother, Dr. Malombe. So very experienced, seasoned governor to come and also encourage our youth. Karibu sana.
Asante sana, my colleague Governor Lusaka, our Chair for Agriculture. As you correctly indicated, we are here to listen. Yesterday we were told one of the biggest problems between those of us who are slightly older and those who are young, the youth, is because we tend to give them the solutions or suggest solutions to them instead of allowing them to suggest what the solutions are, because they appreciate the environment and they know some of these things. But let me float, not to suggest, but float an idea which needs to be considered and which, in my view, has been a gap. The gap of training people in agriculture. If you look how in the past, when Kenya was very productive in the field of agriculture, we had, for example, Egerton College. Egerton College, people are going up to diploma level, and they had a whole range of agriculture and livestock courses. Then that place was converted into a university. One of the biggest mistakes we've been doing in this country, converting middle-level colleges which train people who are hands-on into universities where they study theory and they are not practical. When you look at employability of people who have done agriculture, even BSc agriculture, during our time, if you do BSc agriculture, you are employed straight away. If you do veterinary science, you are employed as well. These days, if you do agriculture, you may finish 10 years without getting a job in the public sector. So that is something else which discourages people to pursue that line. But agriculture remains a mainstay of our economy, and there is a correlation between the largest driver of an economy in a country, the largest sector which drives the economy, and jobs. It means that particular sector can create a lot of jobs. Yet, that is the sector where the youth, because they think money cannot be made there, you can't be wealthy, you can't be flashy. But from the experience which I am told has been shared here, we have youth who have become wealthy and they are driving that Range Rover Vogue out of agriculture. I don't like giving examples related to me, but I have a son who has decided, amongst other things which he does, he should venture into agriculture. And he has used some 3.5 acres of our land where we used to plant maize and get no more than 10 bags of maize, and he really makes money out of it. And it's part-time, not full-time. So I'm encouraging the youth who are here, please don't look down upon agriculture. It's our mainstay, the mainstay of our economy, which means a lot of jobs can and are created in that particular space. Enter into it with courage, with faith, and apply yourself the way you apply yourself in other professions, and you will make it. I said I will not give you suggestions, it's something I'm floating. And because we are here mainly to listen to you, I think I'll sit down so that I can hear your ideas, particularly how to attract our youth into agriculture. What do we need to do to attract our youth into agriculture? If we can hear fellow youth responding to that particular question, or putting it in another way, why is it youth don't want to go into agriculture? Although that may be easier than the other one where we are saying, how do you attract the youth to get into agriculture? And with those questions, or issues which are posed. Please allow me, Governor Luka, and the people who are moderating this to sit down to do what we came here to do, to listen to the ideas that you have. I have my Minister for Agriculture here. He's very passionate about agriculture. There are things we have done in our county to attract youth in agriculture. I don't know how the program has been structured. Would you allow me, I give him 1 minute to say something? I donate 1 minute to him. Eh? Oh, he's a panelist. So asanteni sana, nitakoma hapo. Mungu awabariki.
Good afternoon again, and thank you very much, Governor Lusaka, and thank you for also inviting Governor Malombe. And that was actually in line with the program, so thank you very much for reinforcing that we made the right decision. Governor Malombe, thank you for coming. Actually, what I know of you is your water irrigation project. And for me, because I'm a food systems person, agriculture is fed by water. That water needs to be clean, otherwise the food that you grow is faulty. And then that also has its bearing on health and nutrition outcomes, has a bit of bearing on environment and environmental management. So asante sana for championing those causes. Now, we've got just 2 more people who will speak briefly, and then we will move into the next session, which is the panel session, where we're looking forward to hearing from our CEC from Kitui, Dr. Mbayo. And there is also our CEC from Tharaka Nithi, Mr. Njue. So we will be, and as we've got 2 youth, so we will be listening a bit more. But we promise to keep time and to be very crisp about it. So I'd like to invite, on behalf of the President of AGRA, Mr. John Masharia, to just provide some brief remarks on behalf of our President, who unfortunately was not able to make it today. But as you can see, she's championing the partnership elements and also the youth in our counties. Over to you.
All protocols observed. I would like to start by appreciating Governor Lusaka, Governor Malombe, but also to acknowledge my friend Kimwele and my friend also from Tharaka Nithi, but also a very young lady. She's called Gloria. She's actually the CEO of the National Youth Council. And I have this great opportunity, but after listening to Governor Lusaka, it is very hard to match that speech. So what I'm going to do is to tell you about AGRA and why we are here. Governor Malombe, you asked some very critical questions, and I, like you, wanted to hear, but I had some very interesting things around, you know, you have a farm, but sometimes the youth think that they're cheap labor because they're not being paid. When he milks the cow, it is you who makes the money. So he wonders, when will I own this cow? And I like the comments you made around opportunity, around inclusivity, around space. And I think we all know what the youth have been saying. And I think as AGRA, we thought to have a different conversation. And that conversation is about bringing people together. Because tukiongea si kila kitu inaweza kuwa sawa. Na governor umesikia vile vijana wamesema, they want action. We too are an institution that believes in action. And we believe in working together with government to drive that action. We have worked together in the agricultural space, and we have studies that have actually shown that a transformation is most likely possible, where you have a government that is focused, that is intentional, and that actually puts money behind a lot of the statements that we made. So we didn't want to come and tell you stories. We wanted to bring youth from about, we have youth from how many counties? We have about 15, youth from about 15 counties here. And we wanted them to talk and just to say some of the things that they have said, that you have listened to, and we really appreciate you for coming. The last thing I want to say is that I would want to appreciate our partners. One Acre Fund is here. The National Youth Council is here. The Council of Governors, we would like to thank you because of creating this space. My colleagues, AGRA, who are here, and I believe there are many other development partners who are represented here, who are willing to have a different conversation about the youth and are willing to make commitments about the spaces and the things that we'll do for the youth to make sure that there's no despair, that there's no despondency, but there's actually hope and there's a future, and they are proud of being people who are providing jobs, providing food in the agricultural space. So thank you very much, and I would love to sit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, and thank you very much for encouraging us and reminding us that partnership is key. No one, how do you say in Kiswahili, kidole kimoja hakiwezi vunja chawa, sivyo? So we need very many vidoles. So asanteni kwa kuwa vidole. Now, our final speaker for this particular segment is Violet Chege. Violet, where are you? Please. And Violet is one of our youth constituency members, and she actually even sent her remarks in advance, just so that we know what it is that she's planning to say. So, here you go.
Thank you so much. The Governor of Bungoma County and the Chair of the COG Agriculture Committee, His Excellency Kenneth Lusaka. The Governor of Kitui County, His Excellency Dr. Julius Makau Malombe. The Country Director, AGRA Kenya, Mr. John Marsharia. The CECs present here today, the Chief Executive Officer, National Youth Council Kenya, Madam Gloria Owera, all stakeholders present here today and partners, and most importantly, the youth who are here today and who continue to champion innovation in our agri-food systems. Good afternoon. My name is Violet Chege, and I'm a young person from Murang'a County. I love that the people and the excellencies who have spoken here today before me have aligned what they've said to what I was about to say. So we are very much aligned. And with your permission, excellencies, allow me to read brief remarks that I had prepared. Thank you. Allow me to first appreciate AGRA, the Council of Governors, the National Youth Council Kenya, and all stakeholders and partners for organizing this important gathering and for creating a meaningful platform where the voices and ideas of young people can actively shape the future of our food systems. I also commend my fellow youth here today who through their creativity and determination are already transforming agriculture across our counties. I think it's lovely to just see a room full of passionate young farmers who are ready to change the agricultural sector in our country. Kenya stands at a unique demographic crossroads. Statistics show that over 75% of our population is under the age of 35. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a wellspring of talent, energy, and ambition. Agriculture, as His Excellency Kenneth Lusaka had mentioned, already contributes approximately 33% of our GDP and supports the livelihoods of about 60% of our workforce. I acknowledge and appreciate the strides our government has made in modernizing agriculture through investments in climate-smart technologies and county-level programs that open opportunities for farmers. The reality, however, is that for many young people, agriculture still carries a perception of being outdated, physically demanding, and financially uncertain. Limited access to financing and land, coupled with insufficient market connections, makes entry into the sector even harder. Every year, over 1 million young Kenyans enter the job market. Imagine if even a fraction more of our young people channel their innovation, digital fluency, and entrepreneurial spirit into the agricultural value chain. The gains will not just be measured in GDP, but in food security, job creation, and resilience in our communities. Achieving this requires rebranding the agricultural sector into a vibrant space of innovation, technology, and endless opportunities. the government and development partners can harness the very platform young people dominate, social media. Not merely for entertainment, but to showcase profitable agribusiness ventures and the inspiring stories of young farmers who are thriving. Additionally, the national, county governments and development partners can strengthen youth engagement by supporting organized youth groups in the agriculture sector through easy access to credit, subsidized inputs, training, and guaranteed market opportunities. Empowered youth groups can transform entire value chains from production to processing to distribution. As we live here today, let us commit not in words alone, but in concrete action to collaborate across counties, institutions and sectors to invest in young farmers. For when we invest in them, we are cultivating the very future of food security, our economy, and our shared prosperity. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much. Now, as we move to the next segment, I'm going to introduce our panelists, but I see I need to take a bit of advice. Hold on. Okay, I am advised that Governor Lusaka will be needing to move into his next engagement. So before he goes, I think it would be very, very good for the youth in the house to have a picture with him and Governor Malombe, and then and we can do a bit of a curation. I'm sorry, now what is it called? Improvising. So we are doing adaptation and agility. So we are responding to market context. So, governors, tafadhali, if you could just, our youth, hey, mko wapi? You can just stand here. Yes. And then they can stand behind. Tafadhali. Na wengine wapande nyuma, tafadhali. Please go to the back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, again, we are doing agile. Now, to turn this way and that way in response to our market demands, in response to consumer demands, etc. So So the youth had a call to action. And they are saying, if the governors that are championing youth engagement leave without hearing the call to action, it will have not seen the light of day. So I'd like to invite our two youth members, Buka and Grace. Tafadhali, the floor is yours. The governors are all ears, and so are we. We are listening. There it comes again.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, my name is Evans Buka, proudly from Kisumu County. So this afternoon, I had to make sure the governors are here because I believe you are county level. So on behalf of this is all we had to say for our call to action. As Kenya continues to advance devolution and strengthen county-led development, one truth remains clear. Kenya's food system cannot thrive without the full participation of its youth. With over 75% of the population under the age of 35 and an estimated 1 million youth entering the job market annually, agriculture presents a critical opportunity to address youth unemployment, enhance food security, and catalyze innovation across counties. However, youth remain underrepresented in agriculture. Studies show that less than 10% of Kenyan youth are actively engaged in agribusiness due to challenges including limited access to land, credit, markets, and support policies. This must change. At this Devolution Conference side event, we issue a rallying call to Kenyan youth. Take place in transforming our food systems. Lead the way in climate-smart agriculture, agri-innovation, value addition, and entrepreneurship. The future of Kenya's food security depends on our creativity and leadership. We call our youth, our stakeholders, the county government.
Okay. Good evening. Through your Excellency, our Governor, Kitui County, Governor Kennedy Lusaka, you will allow me to continue with our call to action for our session. Number one, national government to invest in youth-centered agricultural programs and support county-level implementation through developed structure. Number two, county governments prioritize youth in food systems planning and ensure to land and agribusiness to youth in participation in policy development. Private sector development partners to co-invest in youth-led innovations, incubations, apps, agri-tech, and mentorship programs that unlock sustainable livelihood. Young Kenyans to mobilize, network, and innovate, embrace opportunities across the agricultural value chain from production and processing to digital agriculture and trade. We call upon county governments to support youth engagement in climate-smart agriculture by providing targeted incentives such as access to financing, training, and markets to enhance innovation, productivity, and sustainability. The time for youth in agriculture is now. Let us not be observers. Let us be co-creators of a resilient, inclusive, and thriving food system in every county. Form ni kilimo, Asanteni sana.
Thank you so much. So I would kindly wish to invite Your Excellency Governor stage, as you are the chair to the Agriculture Committee, to present this to you. Let's give him a round of applause. Come to stage. Yes. Kameramani, tafadhali make sure hii picha ya mwaka nimepata. Yes, thank you so much.
Anaweza kutumia kuchukua loan.
Thank you so much. A round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Simniklapia hata mimi.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Grace and Buka. We are very appreciative. And Governor, thank you very much, Your Excellencies. And we shall see you another time. Asanteni sana. Okay, that doesn't mean that the rest of us leave. We still have about 20 minutes before we wrap up. As we finish and conclude, if we start well, let's finish well. So I'd like to invite very quickly our next panel, and our moderator is actually quite chap-chap, as we say. So she'll be very crisp, and she'll be wanting to hear from the different stakeholder groups that we have. I'd like to invite Ms. Gloria Wawera, the CEO of the National Youth Council. Gloria is actually an advocate for national youth, for youth at national level, and she leads the council's advocacy on economic policy and has recently convened youth leaders to analyze and provide formal feedback on the Finance Bill 2024. She's an advocate of the High Court and 8 years of experience in legislative work at the Parliament of Kenya. Madam Wawera, asante sana for accepting to moderate this session. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Sholen. Sholen, where are you? So we know Sholen as the guy who's the muscle behind putting the what is, I was calling it a pulpit. What is that thing called? The podium up here. And Sholen is a sheep breeder. I don't know whether you even know where that, when he told me sheep breeder, I asked myself, what does that mean? So basically he gets extremely high grade sheep and then uses those to reproduce others of similar grade. And then he sells them for a lot of money. When he gave me the figures, I told him, si uleta tuchinje moja. He said, no, hata heri nikupatie, because I will be slaughtering 300,000 shillings easily. So he would rather give it to me so that I breed. So that is Sholen. Sholen, karibu sana. Our next speaker will be Dr. Abed Kiwia. Abed, tafadhali, karibu here. Dr. Abed is a program officer and soil scientist at AGRA. And right now his focus is on soil health. So when you people are wondering regenerative agriculture and agricultural practices, you're going climate smart, the gentleman you start with is the soil scientist. Dr. Abed, asante sana, karibu. Our next speaker will be Honorable Jage Jue, the CEO
than 25 years on 8th of August. I'm the chairperson of Kitui Breeders Association, and as well I do connect farmers or got farmers to export markets, that is Dubai, Kuwait, or Middle East countries. So here comes a question. I've been asked what is the biggest, or what are the challenges that I've faced when I was starting up or I was scaling up. I think as a youth, I would want to mention most of the challenges that usually face us, including myself. And as a startup, the first thing, you can't farm without a land, right? You can't farm without a land, right? So one of the biggest challenges that I was facing is lack of land. I had to lease a land that is 2 acres to start, and with time, I had to scale up. So the other challenge that I would talk of is inadequate funds to start up. Honestly, I would call it a universal challenge in all youths when it comes to starting up a business or any agribusiness. And for me, I would talk of it in a way that maybe some corporations or organizations would not feel appreciated, because we just need to be honest and speak the truth as the challenges that usually face, so that we can see how to come up with it. As a youth, for you to apply for a funds or anything, it's always challenging. I took 2 years counting for funds before I started my project, and I would talk of, I've visited banks, and honestly, I would not be able to secure any loan because of the guarantees that they were asking for. Either you have to have a logbook or a land or anything in possession to just give it back for you to get a loan. And that has, honestly, if we talk of land first, 3 things that would make a difference. 1, I would talk of, as the chairperson of Kitui Breeders Association, we have an association of young people that have mapped farms or would be interested to do farming. You get all those import permits, all those paperwork for you to be able to import animals. That will spend almost 600,000. How many youths can afford to spend 600,000 on getting a business standing? So if we would get subsidized, or we would get, let's say, a payment plan for all these, so that a youth can be able to attain the licensing or to be able to have a subsidized tax for the animals, I think that would help a lot. Yeah, as I wrap it up, I need to talk of support. When I talk of support, our very governor from our county talked of they would love to see people learning from hands-on model. I run a breeding enterprise by name Gen Z Breeding Farm. I recently turned it to a model farm whereby I usually offer trainings to youths, and not even youth, but the whole community. I usually offer free trainings to them. But here comes a challenge. Getting the support that includes maybe logistics and other things for all those things to run becomes a challenge. So we would really wish to have support when it comes to trainings, because personally I do offer free trainings because I believe I have to empower the other youths for us to be able to aggregate and sell, that is export animals to other countries as a source. I can't grow alone. So on terms of empowerment, that would really assist. And not only empowerment on papers, because these things, most of them happen on papers. But when you go down there on the ground, you don't find anything tangible that you talk of, this happened on this. They just happen on paper. So what we are calling is, would we move things from papers to actualization? Thank you.
Hello, thank you very much, Sholin. For the rest of my panelists, please, I had 3 things. So challenges: access to land, financing, high taxes, and solutions: access to land for you, incentives from government, and support for young people. On that note, let me switch it up a little and go to PI. Ms. Hartman, you are the Global Director of One Acre Fund. I'd like for you to do 2 things. Very briefly, first, tell us about the Tupande. Hello. Okay, tell us about the Tupande project, and then taking into cognizance lessons from your work, and what Sholen has spoken to, what incentives do you think could be introduced to improve youth-led agribusiness?
Thank you so much, Gloria. So I'm Yael Hartman, and I work for Tupande, which is the 1 acre fund ranch in Kenya. We empower more than 1.4 million farmers, which is about 34% of crop farmers in Kenya, with precision tools, high quality inputs, and market access at their doorstep. And so I think the idea of changing the perception for young people to go from agriculture to agribusiness, we're addressing that by partnering with the private sector, with the MasterCard Foundation, and with county governments. And we're aiming to reach 300,000 young farmers across 34 counties. And I think that the way that we're doing that is by breaking down barriers. There are 4 barriers that I see to young people entering agriculture. And I think it's been mentioned by their excellencies, Governor Malombe and Governor Lusaka, but as well as my peers here: land access, financial inclusion, agricultural skills, and markets. In terms of land, traditional land practices are preventing young people from farming, so shared farming programs and lease-to-own programs. Tupande is doing this with MasterCard Foundation across the country. Financial inclusion, we're connecting farmers, young farmers, to affordable credit and micro-franchise starter kits, which are fertilizer, high quality seeds, irrigation kits, and capital. And then skills. We're offering hands-on training with our large extension staff, which is across the country. And we also have a Tupande app that has a lot of training materials on it. And finally, access to markets. Most farmers can be exploited with very low farm gate prices by the middlemen. We cut out the middleman. We have a brand of Tupande called Soko, which offers very high premium prices to farmers with produce like avocados and macadamia, and then we aggregate and we export it for sale. So I think we've trained already over 40,000 youth. Half of them are young women, and I think we've recruited about 330 field officers. They go house to house, speaking to farmers, giving them advice on their farms, providing trainings. And we've also had many youth field days. These are not just agricultural trainings, these are launch pads for agribusinesses for youth. So I think we see the power of youth-led innovation in the fields every day. We work in 10 markets across the continent, and I've walked many different fields, and I have seen how exciting it can be to see what youth come up with. As their excellencies have said, we're here to listen to you, and I am here to speak to young people and to county governments about how we can expand the programs that I've already talked about, so that we can reach more and we can convince more young farmers to join. Because we've seen what happens when you give skills, capital, land, and market access to young people. They do grow their futures. Thank you.
So 4 incentives: skills, capital, land, and access to markets. I will bring it back to Dr. Abed. Dr. Abed of AGRA. Kathy told us that as we go into smart agriculture, you're the man we talk to about soil health. So tell me 2 things. One, about this track project and how it is seeking to address the elements of sustainability and scalability in counties where you operate.
Thank you. Thank you so much, moderator, for...
And if I may, if you can link it up to the thread we are picking up here on incentives.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, so my name is Dr. Abed Kiwea. As the moderator has introduced me, I work for AGRA. My background is in forestry, soil science, and also in public policy and administration, specializing in fertilizer policies. And yeah, so AGRA, as my country director said, we work in different countries, 15 countries. And here in Kenya, we are working in 13 counties. And we work in the areas of sustainable farming, We also work in the areas of inclusive market and trade. We also work in the area of seed systems. We also work in the area of policy, state capability and policies. And so in promoting sustainable farming innovations, we have a project that's funded by the CARE Foundation. It was funded from 2020 until it is still continuing, probably until the end of the year, and we expect it's going to continue. It is called Strengthening Regenerative Agriculture in Kenya. Currently working in 4 counties, Tharaka Nithi, Kitui, Embu and Makueni, and I'm glad the CCs for those counties, some of those counties are here. They will speak about what we are doing in those counties. But then in terms of scalability, after promoting regenerative agriculture in those 4 counties, we have also scaled out to other 9 counties. We are now in 13 counties in southeastern, in central Kenya, in western Kenya, and what we do is we promote climate smart innovations, innovations that are conserving soil and water. We promote also agroforestry. We promote not only just doing, but ensuring that as you do those activities, you have a business mind. And because of that, business mind, working through what we call our extension model, which we call village-based advisor model, we ensure that as these village-based advisors are offering extension services, they are also doing agriculture and they have a business mind. So whatever they do is actually private-led extension services, so that as they offer the extension services, they're also making money. They are in various value chains for resilience, and besides that, they also involve themselves in so many other interrelated businesses so that they can make money. So that's what we're doing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that very meaningful, very impactful innovation and investment. So picking up from there, let's move into the question of innovation and technology. Ms. Tracy Ngoya, please do tell us, how can devolved governments leverage technology to create inclusive, youth-friendly agricultural value chains?
Hello, thank you for that question. My name is Tracy Ngoya. I want to say, like, the way government can actually help. Can you repeat the question?
How can devolved governments leverage technology to create inclusive, youth-led or youth-friendly agriculture?
Yes, the way devolved government can help farmers is by creating mobile-friendly platforms where farmers can sell directly to buyers. I liked what Gail said here about them having Soko, and that's a really good thing for farmers to have, because from there we can be able to sell directly to the consumers without the middlemen, because that's a very big thing that's affecting most of us farmers right now. And through that, if we had more of those, it would really help, and maybe if it could reach also to the marginalized area, that could also help a lot. Something else, if the devolved government could push for AI to be included in the education system, it could help to curb diseases and pests, because through that someone could take a photo maybe of the ground or the soil and maybe upload it to the AI platform, and it could tell them what is going on with that soil and what can be planted in that soil. That will really help us a lot in that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those 2 suggestions. I hear markets and I hear using AI to improve precision agriculture. Now to the county governments themselves. Let me start with Waziri Joy. Waziri, for fisheries, agriculture, livestock, irrigation, water, zote yani. In your mind, how can county governments institutionalize youth participation and ensure that their voices are heard in policy and budget decisions? You can tell us maybe from your experience in Tharaka Nithi, how you've been able to do this.
Thank you very much. My name is Njue. I am a County Executive Committee member in that space of agriculture, water and environment. And I am happy and thankful for being allowed to participate as a panelist in this, as a partner in that space of agriculture and more so in the youth involvement. I have sat here and I've listened to what the youth have said. And truth is not something that can be ignored because even when you look at the statistics, there is no way 25% of the population could be working for 75%. 75% must be put in for sustainability and as well as also for these people's empowerment. And the space where youth can participate in large numbers is in agribusiness, even when we look at the country. I want to say that I've been thrilled by the participation of the two governors in this event and the speeches that have been given, more so by the chair and Dr. Malombe, because I can tell you that from a government perspective, governments are learned from the leadership manifestos, the elected manifestos. There's a way those manifestos are organized to fit the country's regulations or legal frameworks that organize resources, so that then the resources can be put into use, and more so for the youths to be involved and to bring that transformation. And therefore I want to say that the very first thing on policy is the buy-in by the leadership, which we have already noticed. And secondly is to make sure that we provide and incentivize an environment that allows youth to come in. I want to say that it has been said severally that in fact the word is that agriculture is not sexy. And if agriculture is not sexy, then it does not motivate or allow you to participate in it. And therefore, as a government, we have, with partners, tried the best to be able to allow the youth to come in by making sure that there are laws and regulations that force the involvement of youth. Like for example, when you're organizing, and through the project that we've been implementing through AGRA, we have organized farmers in groups. And these groups, it was a must that the youth must have been part of those groups. In fact, through the project's track, we've been able to reach out to about 50,000 farmers. And out of those 50,000 farmers, a percentage of over that has been youth-led. The leaders or the persons that were the center of these groups' involvement, who would see that the farmers are assessing seed, would see that the farmers are assessing good agronomical practices, or that training of extension, would ensure that the farmers have been organized to aggregate and be able to sell the produce, were called various-based advisors. And a good percentage of them, indeed over 70% of them, were youth. And I would like to say it is as a result of policy that the youth must have been involved. Number two, and allow me to say this because I feel it's very, very important, is allowing the youth to participate in decision making. That is leadership. There is no way youth will be attracted to this business if they do not sit in the decision making table. And therefore, policies must also address on the space for the leadership of youths, so that when you're forming your committees, when you're giving the executive positions, some are by law reserved for the youth. And finally, the issue of empowerment. Government must be, must be intentional in availing capital in cash. It can be a subsidy. It can be a tax waiver or cut, so that the youths feel that they are also they have something to invest, and that there's also making money as a result of government investment in their investments. And finally, it is critical that we come up with legal frameworks, acts of county assemblies and parliament, policies from the executive that are youth-friendly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, youth as a decision-making table, legal policy frameworks, empowerment, political goodwill, and most importantly, partnerships like STRUCK. And on that note of partnerships, Waziri Kimwele, welcome to the panel, but please tell us, in your mind and in your experience, what collaborative frameworks can be established between county governments, private sector, development partners, and so on and so forth to sustain youth empowerment initiatives beyond this conversation? And while you're at it, we heard that you've done some wonderful work to bring young people into agriculture in Kitui. Please cite us one or two examples. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Stephen Mbai Kimwele. I'm the CCM for Agriculture and Livestock from County Government of Kitui. And one thing, as my colleague has correctly put, we as executive, we are the policy holders. And we are the people to drive these youth-led initiatives. And we can't do it alone. The issue of youth empowerment is multifaceted. It needs so many stakeholders to come on board. For instance, we are partnering with AGRA. And this project, which is the STRUCK project, strengthening regenerative agriculture, which is being implemented by CGA, Civil Growers Association. We've deliberately detected youth. And because we know, as one of the panelists, Gen Z, he mentioned about how should we come in as government. For me, from where I sit, is the government should facilitate. How should we facilitate? Through trainings. For instance, with AGRA, we've been able to onboard village-based advisors. These are the private sector-led extension officers on top of what we have as county government. And amongst those extension officers and VBS, we have around 20% who are youth, because we want the youth to lead from front. Therefore, as governments, and as our governors have put it clearly here, with political goodwill, we need to onboard many partners, the partners who have the common interest, so that we drive the youth agenda. The other bit, which we have done as county government, because you don't need to talk a lot about theory, and also I like what the youth presented here about the e-citizen. These are the youth-led solutions. We've been talking about having youth, placing the youth in the value chain. When we start with production, to do with aggregation, all that marketing, we want youth to place themselves somewhere. And exactly that's what they're able to demonstrate here. Then how do we actualize what the youth demonstrated here? We need to put, and we are working closely with the national government and partners to put our youth and farmers into groups for them to be able to aggregate. It will be very easy to train farmers who are organized. It will be very easy to pass a technology to people who are organized. Therefore, and with the national government, we'll be able to put the cooperatives in every ward. And these cooperatives, we are encouraging youth to be part of the cooperatives. And what we have done, in these cooperatives, we have employed at least one person who is a bookkeeper, who is an accountant, and a youth. Therefore, for me, is apart from we government doing what we're supposed to do, but our partners and also the youth need to work with us. As county government of Kitui, under the Ministry of Gender, we were able to pass the cabinet, we passed the Kitui County Youth Engagement and Empowerment Policy. This policy was passed by the cabinet, is at the county assembly. It needs to be passed there. What we have proposed is 3% of the development budget should go to youth. Apart from, that is above what we are doing for youth. We are saying strictly this should come out, when we are budgeting, that should come out the way it is, 3% on top of what we do. So those are some of the things. If the youth of Kitui, for instance, we were able, through the Ministry of Youth, we were able to bring these young ones to demonstrate, to showcase what they're able to do. Because youth will always believe by seeing. And also the training, we have partnered with many partners. We have trained around 500,000 farmers. Particularly with AGRA, we have trained around 51,000 farmers. And these farmers, 40% are youth. We are very deliberate, we have to be very intentional with youth. But I'm really encouraged to see what we're able to demonstrate here. It shows that we are on the right trajectory. Therefore, and also when my governor was talking, he was asked a question, what do you think, what should we do to attract youth into agriculture? My colleague has mentioned some few. In addition, we need to mechanize. Our youth want sophisticated things. If it's, they don't do the normal threshing, which people used to do it conventionally. So with partners, other partners like Women Economic Empowerment, which is UN supported, we're able to give youth threshers. And now again, we're able to use, again, to give also the youth and women reapers. We need to mechanize our process, to make the work easier, to make it attractive. Also to give some time, women as well, and youth, time to rest and do other things. Therefore, there are so many things we can do to attract youth into agriculture with partners. This can't be done by governments only. We have to do with development partners and all the people. Thank you.
All right, so intentional inclusion of youth, intentional partnerships, mechanization, and incentives. Now 96. Kuna questions for audience? If you show me 2 hands, I will take 2 questions. But if there are no questions, I know that it's 6 p.m. we can wrap it up. Any questions? Don't be shy. Any questions? 1 question. I'll take that 1 question from the audience. 2 questions. 2 questions on the left of the room before I ask my last questions and we wrap up the show tonight. The gentleman in light blue and the gentleman in, I think that's black. Karibu.
Yeah, thank you very much. I come from Kakamega. I'm Jonathan Makau. I just want to ask the panelists, especially from the ASAL areas, Kitui, Tharaka Nithi. I've not heard you say anything to do with horticulture, how it is playing a role in, what role it can play in, having the youth participation in agriculture. Because we know the youth want quick money, and quick money in agriculture is mostly found in horticulture and maybe dairy and poultry keeping. How is that? How have you seen it, assist in bringing youth to agriculture in our counties? Thank you.
Horticulture, dairy, poultry keeping.
I'll first begin by commending the panelists for a good job well done. To Ms. Hartman. You've talked about what you do at One Acre Fund. I would like to hear just insights about how do you roll your programs, and do you target counties? And in that sense, do you have one program that you have for Kitui County? Thank you so much.
Thank you. Tharaka Nithi, Kitui County, and then Ms. Hartman.
I think I would want to say that time didn't allow, otherwise we would have taken a lot. I mean, you have spoken a lot, but let me just say that horticulture is one area that majority of our youth are invested, because we are a county with availability of water, and lands are adequate, and we have intentionally put in money in it. We run a subsidized AI program for dairy cows, and we've encouraged you to take advantage of that. We charge 400 shillings instead of 2,000 shillings for artificial insemination. And it's a program that we've actually done a lot of shows with the youth to make sure that they're on board. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, the way my colleague has put that horticulture is one of the area which youth are interested, especially on tomato, kales, mango, watermelon value chain. And as Ministry of Agriculture in Kitui, last season we were able to give watermelon seeds and tomato and kale seeds to youth groups. Therefore, we find since you have put youth like quick money, we'll be able to do something of that. And also when it comes to dairy, in Kitui County, as you know, in the country, Kitui County is leading in terms of goats, the goat meat, we are number one. So as the ministry, what we've been doing, we're promoting gala goats. We're able to give over 50,000 goats, the gala goats, which we targeted groups and we targeted women and youth. We give them goats for them to increase their milk production and meats. And also the other day we give gala bags, the whole county. So we give them gala bags for them to go and change the meats. When it comes to the dairy, they get to also offer subsidized artificial insemination. And also when it comes to poultry, again, Kitui County is leading in terms of with eating as chicken in Kenya. And what we are doing, we are giving groups incubators. We have given incubators across all the 40 wards to groups targeting women and youth as well. We have done a lot targeting the youth and women, and specifically on those value chains which we have mentioned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. So 1 Acre Fund, Tupande in Kenya, we have 330 agrovets across 34 counties, and one of them is Kitui. And actually in Kitui, we are working with MasterCard Foundation and with the county government to specifically target youth. So we've actually trained hundreds of farmers in Kitui in phase 1, and in phase 2 we'll be expanding that considerably. So every agrovet that we have has a Tupande agent, and that agent will enroll farmers in the youth programs, but also in other programs. So they give them affordable credit, trainings, they come to their homes and their farms to give them specific advice about their soils. We do soil testing. And we also have horticulture, we have drip irrigation kits, and we do, as I was talking about before, these micro-enterprise starter kits. So they involve seed fertilizer, it can involve drip irrigation, and then of course capital to get started. I hope that answers, and I can give you the locations of the agrovets in Kitui if that's helpful.
Thank you very much to my panelists. I want to wrap up this conversation, but as we wrap it up, I want to ask the two youth on the panel one question that has been asked at least 3 times today by my count.